Okay, okay, I've started it. Anyways, so guys, let's go ahead and quickly start. And I can see 16 people already here. It's all right. Even if it was one of you, I would have done great. But thank you guys. Thank you for turning in on Sunday. And next time Aditya asks us to do something like this, we would just say, not on a Sunday, bro. Anyways, so the first thing we'll be talking today would be income. So guys, everything related to finance, everything related to personal finance, everything related to how finances should operate starts and ends with income. Income, it doesn't lie. Income is a figure that tells the reality of who we are and what our spending potential is, what our consumption per capita can be, and what are the other factors that govern the entire periphery of money in our life. So that will be governed by income. Now this is a fancy flow chart, but I've tried to make it as simple as possible. And all the purple lines in this chart would be the lines that we cannot avoid. All the green lines would be the lines that we should do, and all the red lines will be the lines we should absolutely not do. Or red lines are the lines that we should absolutely avoid or try not to fall into. So when we have income, the first thing that acts on our income is taxes, guys. So irrespective of who you are, how much money you make, what kind of lifestyle do you live, which country you are in, there are taxes that would first come and bite your income. And on an average, taxes are about 20 to 25% of your income. And so what you can actually do with taxes is you can either plan your taxes or you can just pay your taxes. And when we say that you can plan your taxes, there are several sections through which the government says that when you plan your taxes, you're basically investing. It basically flows into investment. Now, there are a lot of people who I know personally who do not like to plan their taxes. And what they end up doing is they end up paying taxes, which falls into their expenses. Now, guys, paying taxes is not a bad thing. But the problem with taxes is you're already paying a lot of indirect tax, right? The GST and everything in itself is a huge tax. And then if you're paying in taxes on your direct income also, you end up paying somewhere between 35 to 45% or 35 to 50% of your income as taxes, based on how your lifestyle is or based on what you're operating out of. So the idea here is the red line says taxes, that is without planning, if you just go ahead and give your taxes to the government. And the green line says planning, wherein you plan your taxes. The best way to plan your taxes is to do month on month. So every month you calculate on how much is your income, and you can channelize that money. You can plan that money so that you would have come across a lot of people who say, if you're in service, if you have friends who are working as employees, they would come up and say कि March की salary तो पता ही नहीं लगती क्या हो गया. And the major reason that because of that is because for entire 12 months they've not been planning their taxes, and in the 12th month when they have to give their taxes, they do not get any money in their bank. They end up paying all the money to the taxes. So tax planning is a big yes. Also, what happens to your income is you spend your income. It is unavoidable. You will have to spend your income because income is nothing but your capacity to purchase something. And we are not sarpurna. So we cannot produce everything that we want for ourselves. So we will have to incur expenses. And when we incur expenses, there are basically three types of expenses: fixed, variable, and an event. Now, a lot of people's cycle ends here. They earn, they pay taxes, and they spend. Right? A lot of people end their financial planning, their finances end here. Okay. And then what a lot of people do is they add a loan to their net worth, or they add a loan to their cash flow. And this loan comes in as in form of income when you're taking a loan. But what is actually doing is it will take interest as principal out of your pocket every time you take a loan, or after you've taken a loan, as long as you've not paid it back. So loan is basically when you're borrowing from future self. You're not borrowing from a bank. You're not borrowing from a financial institution. You're basically borrowing from your future self. And this red line shows that you should probably not be doing loans at all. Why? Because whenever you take a loan, it is a negative cash flow. If I take 100 rupees from Mohit today, and if I want to return 100 rupees, Mohit would want more than 100 rupees. He would not be wanting only 100 rupees. So for me, the loan that I've taken from Mohit would always be a negative cash flow because I would have to add some value to the amount that he has given me, and I will have to give him back the amount. So loan is always a bad thing to do because loan is a negative cash flow. But there are good loans and there are bad loans. So for those of us who are opting for good loans, for example, if you're buying a property that will pay rent, or if you're buying an asset that will give you, cash flows, then you will have to use a simple formula in which you have to simply divide the loan amount by your annual income, and it should not exceed by 5. So if I have a loan of, let's say, 100 rupees, and my annual income is, for example, 10 rupees, then I'm not in a good state, right? Because my loan by my annual income should not exceed 5. By 5, what does it mean is simply that, even if you're paying your role consistently, it should not take you more than 8 years to pay off any loan that you have lifted from the market or from the bank. Because according to rule of 72, in every 8 years, you're actually paying 2x to the bank. And no asset, no matter how good it is, you cannot actually pay 2 times of the money in 8 years. It is not going to appreciate that much. But the other hand to it is, or the other side of the coin is, if you take a loan to consume a product, or if you take a loan for a commodity which is not going to pay you anything, you will end up paying more over time, just because you've taken a loan and you have to pay interest and principal back. Now there is other side of this entire circle. It's called investment, which a lot of us probably do, a lot of us don't do, and a lot of us don't know about. This is an amazing side, and it is in green because it is not forced. It is not, it's not compulsory that you do it, but it is encouraged that you do it. So when you invest, you actually invest to yourself in future, and whatever returns you get on your investment are added to your returns back to your income. This is the circle of wealth maximization, guys. So whenever you add income, and through your tax planning or by direct investment, when you fill this pot of investments, there is interest, or there is return that is generated on your investment, which is added to your returns, which is further added to your income. This cycle is called the cycle of wealth maximization. And this is a cycle that most of us do not have, or if we have, the stream is very slim, and we have to actually make sure that there is adequate amount of water flowing into this pot. Now, what happens is investments are basically of 4 types. The first is called wealth generation. So you can add your investment to your business. You can reinvest your money if you're a business owner and you're making profits out of business. You can reinvest your profits in a business, and that can be a wealth generation investment. You can buy a rental asset, a commercial or a residential asset that gives you rent. That is in wealth generation investment. Or you can buy government bonds or corporate bonds, which give you a coupon every year, or which give you interest every quarter. And then that is also a source of wealth generation. Then the second type is called wealth accumulation, where you can do a PPF, you can do a RD, or you can do a SIP in a debt fund. The third is a wealth maximization, where you do secondary equity, that is stock markets, companies listed on the stock market. You do private equity, that is companies that are listed, not listed on the stock market, but are good companies and have demat shares. Or you can start an SIP in a equity mutual fund. And then there is this amazing entertainer in the world called wealth erosion, gambling and stock speculation. People who come into the stock markets to trade, and people who gamble. I have seen so many people. I play poker a lot. I have seen so many people who come down and play poker and lose all their money, and they're happy about it because they have actually come to the poker table not to win money, but to secrete dopamine in their brains, to get the adrenaline rush they get out of gambling and stock speculation. But this is a part of wealth erosion, and it's a dark red line here. It simply means that we should not be doing it. So the idea is, if there is a person like me, and he says that, for me, gambling is not wealth erosion, it's an expense. I use it for entertainment. I am okay with it. If I put gambling and stock speculation as an expense, and I say, every year I would take a dollar amount and I would gamble with it, I'm okay with it if you're saying it's an expense. But if someone says that trading in the stock market or trying to speculate stocks is an investment, that's where the problem is, because that's not an investment, that is basically wealth erosion. So this is the entire financial circle. This is the entire financial pyramid or and flow chart of how finances are when you do something, and the right side of it is something that a lot of people don't do, and the left side is something that you cannot avoid. So if your expenses are more than your income, you end up taking loan, and then it's all screwed up. So the idea is simple, that we should be doing our budgeting. So the first part of this seminar is budgeting. Until now, we were only talking about how money as in itself flows. So when we come down to budgeting, guys, there is a simple formula that I use a 30 30 30 10 rule. So for example, if my income is 1 lakh rupees a month, so I will be using 30% of the monthly income for tax planning and taxes, and I will be using 30% of the income as investment. And after I have already used 60 rupees out of the 100 rupees that I've earned, I'll be spending 30 rupees out of the income, and 10 rupees would always be for the emergency fund. So this is called the 30 30 30 10 rule. Now, what happens with the 30 30 30 10 rule is, even if you're in a crisis situation like you are in today, like the COVID-19, or everything's locked down, you will have enough cash flows to survive a very, very long time. Because you would first have your emergency fund that would be accumulated. You will have your expenditure, you will have your investments that would be accumulated, and you would also have a lot of money that you accumulated through tax planning, because you didn't give it to the government and you were smart enough to accumulate it for yourself. So you will have enough money that comes out of tax planning to go ahead and do that. So what I've simply done is I have added these figures for until March here, and I have just tried to make sense of what with the total amount that we would be doing in an year if we have 1 lakh rupees as monthly income. Guys, this is a random figure. We can do any figure, and this table will change. I'll be sharing this table with Aditya, and you can ask Aditya to share it with you. All you have to do is put your income here, and you will get the entire table. And if you follow this, half of the job is already done. Half of the job is done. So when we talk about 12 lakh rupees as income, we are basically saying that 3 lakh 60,000 rupees would be used as tax or tax planning. Out of this 3 lakh 60, I am sure 1 lakh 50,000 can be used for ATC, 50,000 can be used for ATCCD, around 10 to 12,000, around 20,000 can be used for ATD, that is your health insurance. That's an expense, that's not an investment, but we're talking about tax and tax planning both. So let's say around 2 lakh of this 3 lakh 60,000 can be, invested uh, in the can be invested in an year for us. Then we're talking about investments. So 3 lakh 60,000, yes, 3 lakh 60,000 as it is can be invested every year. You will be allowed to live on 3 lakh 60,000 every year. Now, this sounds like a very uncomfortable figure for a lot of people. I coach for wealth maximization, or I coach for coming out of debt. When I say you will have to live on 30% of your income, people say, हो ही नहीं पाएगा, मतलब गलत चीज बोल रहे हो आप. And then I have to make them understand that if they really want that transformation in their life, if they really want that transition in their life, they will have to live on 30% of their income, or they can keep the income to what it is, but increase they can keep their expenditure of what it is, but increase their income significantly. So if you want to live the standard of living that you are, and if it is beyond 30%, then you have to work on your income. Because if you're spending more than 30% of what you're earning, it is not making sense whatsoever, even for short term, even for long term, even for mid term. What has happened recently is our generation, or we as people, have not seen a pandemic. We have not seen jobs going off. We have not seen businesses going out of business. We have not seen banks coming up to our neighbors and taking their homes away, taking their cars away. And we have not seen the huge crisis that can be created, because the 2008 crisis that came globally was not affected in India. So basically, India has been recession free until last 20 years. So we have forgotten कि बुरे दिन भी आ सकते हैं. मोदी जी के अच्छे दिन ही नहीं चलते रहेंगे. So because we as a race have forgotten that bad days can also come, we have tend to become humans who spend a lot. We spend a lot of money and we think it is okay, but it is not okay, because we are neither saving for our future, neither are we investing in assets when we are spending a lot. So if you're a person who is spending more than 30% of your income, either you're not earning enough or you're living way over your means. So guys, this is an Harvard Business case study. It's not Emmanuel Suraj's case study, but Harvard Business School says that if you are spending more than 30% of your income, you're not you're not good with your money. The relationship with money is not correct for you. Okay, now emergency fund, you have around 1,20,000. What I've simply done is to I have tried to calculate the future value of this particular figure. Just a second. I've tried to calculate the future value of this particular figure. Okay. Yeah. And what we're actually trying to do here is we are trying to figure out of what will be the amount that will be in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, in, you know, I don't know what not years. Because what we're actually trying to do is we are trying to, figure out कि ये सब करने से मिलेगा क्या, मतलब होगा क्या, मैं क्यों करूं ये सब, right, guys? Because a lot of people do not have motivation to save or invest money because they don't know what the future is like. Okay, so now I know we all get promotions, we all increase our businesses, we all increase our salaries, we all get increments. ऐसा हो सकता है कि इस साल ना मिले, but I know it happens to a lot of us, that a lot of us get a lot of, yeah, we all get a raise in income and all these sort of things. So what I'm doing is I'm simply collating. Okay, I'm simply collating, and what's happened here is I have tried to find the future value of all these figures. So guys, if you're investing 30,000 per month, let's see what will be the value of 30,000 rupees a month that you're investing for 40 years at 12%, because that's the rate you would get if you're investing in ATC investments, or if you're investing in any other investment. So what happens is, guys, when I hit calculate, we are basically coming down to 35.6 crores at 12%, right? So अब आपकी सैलरीज बढ़ रही हैं, आपके खर्चे भी बढ़ रहे हैं, पर मैं अभी आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट फिक्स रख रहा हूँ. आई एम नॉट इंक्रीजिंग योर इन्वेस्टमेंट. So even if you're investing 30,000 rupees for 40 years, and this is also a Harvard business case study that says an average person works for 40 years, even if you're a business owner and even if you're a working professional. For professions like architects, doctors, people who study a lot and think they're really genius. I doubt sometimes that, but they work from 25 to 65. And people like me who did a 3 years graduation, they work from 20 to 60. So basically, what we are trying to say is that you actually work for 40 years. Now, with these professions like doctors, architects, writers, sometimes they get royalties also, and they basically earn on their name. So even if after 60 they're not edible enough, to go to the office and actually do something, they still make money. So 40 years is the exercising timeline that you have. Now, out of 40 years, if you invest 30,000 for 40 years, it becomes 35.6 crores. But let's take a simple example, because a lot of you might be thinking 30,000 रुपए महीना तो मतलब भूल जाओ, हो ही नहीं सकता, मतलब घर आके बैठ जाओगे तब भी नहीं दूंगा. So let's say 5,000 rupees a month. That's not a big amount. I think all of us on this call can do that amount. So 5,000 a month for 40 years makes 5.9 crores, guys, at 12%. And this is at normal investment. Okay. Now, if you hire a fund manager, or if you learn how stock markets operate and how you can manage your money through mutual funds and through stock markets, and you're able to move this 12% to 15%, which is not that easy thing to do. It really takes skill and time. And if I do 15%, or if you do 15%, we make 15.7 crores. So from 6 crores, you end up making 16 crores with the same amount of investment, that is 24 lakhs, and within same amount of time, that is 40 years. Okay. But then we have someone like Kapil who is really smart, and he's really learned how to invest in the stock market, and he has really aced the game, and he has put a lot of time. It is not a big thing to start making 18%. It is really not a big thing. I know a lot of people who are making 22% per annum since I don't know how many years. 18% is not a big thing, because probably I have seen it too. So if we do 18% a year on year with 24 lakhs, 40 years, you're able to get 42.9 crores, right? So guys, what we're actually trying to say is, with the same amount of money, if you just increase your skill set, or if you hire someone with that appropriate skill set, and you let yourself manage the money, or you let that person manage the money for you, in both the cases, I would highly recommend that you understand how it is done. Because if you hire someone and you don't know how it is done, it might go for a flop. If even if you're hiring someone, or even if you want to manage your money, learn on how it is done. And once you are able to make 15%, you are actually moving from 6 crores to 16 crores. And if your fund manager is amazing, and if you are amazing, and if you have the real crave for money, then it can actually make you wonders. It can actually make you somewhere around 40, 42 crores. So this is the idea where we're saying that, this can really turn around the table, and this can really turn around the way we do things. And guys, this is when you're earning just 1 lakh rupees, living on 30% of your income. And uh, and all these fancy terminologies are then not required, because all we can do is just invest that amount. Okay, now what I'm actually trying to do is I'm trying to figure out. Aditya keeps playing with all these sheets, so I have to put the formula again all over. I'm so sorry. I'm doing future value rate. So when you invest in ELSS, or when you invest in ULIP, you don't get more than 12%. That is why I'm putting 12%, including ATC and NPS. Number of periods is 5. So I'm taking 5 years. Payment amount is a negative 2 lakhs. Negative because we are paying, and it will be positive if we would be getting. Present value is 0. Now what I'm doing is I'm using a little bit of my Excel skills here. I'll have to freeze N10, and I have to freeze the row 2. So if I have to freeze the row 2, I've freezed it. And all I have to do is I have to copy paste for 40 years. So here we see that purely by tax planning, by not paying 2 lakh rupees to government, we end up making around, I'll have to just recheck this amount. So if we are doing, okay, 40 years at 12%. Yes, yes. Now, guys, here it's 19 crores, and here it is 15 crores, because I'm not compounding it monthly. Here it is getting compounded monthly. So 15 crores, I think, is also fair enough. So this is the future value only if you're planning your taxes, guys. 15 करोड़ का फर्क आता है अगर आप टैक्स गवर्नमेंट को पे कर देते हो 2 लाख रुपए साल का, और अगर आप टैक्स प्लान कर लेते हो. 15 crores is the amount that you're differing in 40 years. In 35 years, it's 86 lakhs, probably 1 lakh, 8 crores, 4 crores, 2.6 crores, 1.4 crores, 74 lakhs, 35 lakhs, and in 5 years, it's around 12 lakhs. So guys, 15 crores is a huge amount when you're talking. Now let's say investment. Okay, I agree that you don't want to invest 30,000 rupees every month. But let's see, if you do invest 30,000 rupees every month, what is it going to be? So we just calculated, if you're investing 30,000 rupees every month for 40 years at 15%, because this investment, what I'm saying is, either you're investing in stock markets, or you're investing through mutual funds, or you're hiring a good fund manager, you end up getting 94.2 crores straight. Now you can think whether you want to save 30,000 rupees every month or not. 100 करोड़ चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए, सिंपल क्वेश्चन है. अगर नहीं चाहिए, then it's okay. अगर चाहिए तो 30,000 rupees a month is what it asks. So then we talk about emergency fund. So in emergency fund, you don't get more than 10%, because emergency fund is generally parked in bonds or in liquid. I would say you won't get more than 8% either. Aditya might say that you would get 8% because he's the expert there. But according to my expertise, if you even have 8%, and in your emergency, you're probably parking 10,000 rupees a month, and you've just done an RD or an FD or whatever bond, you still make 3.5 crores, which is a sufficient emergency fund at any significant point of time. Now, guys, you would see that the only factor that is involved is the interest rate, or how much interest or how much compounding rate are you able to generate over a given period of time on your capital. What is the rate at which you are ready to appreciate your capital, right? And this is what it is all about. Now, guys, when we're talking about automating financial independence, what I am simply trying to say is that I know a lot of you might be having SIPs. That's how Aditya knows you. But automating your financial freedom is simply that you calculate a figure that you would need in future, right? And you just use this calculator. It's a website called sipcalculator.in. You just use this calculator and play with these figures, play with the number of years, play with the monthly investment, and expected annual, please just keep it 12. Don't take it to 15, because if you're not learning how the market works, making 15 would be really, really difficult. So keep it 12 and keep playing with a number here. You can put any number you want, and you can just see if the output that's coming here is the exact amount that you need, right? And that's how we will be able to, calculate on, that's how we will be able to calculate on how it can be done, or how much money do we actually need to invest month on month. After this, what we are asked to discuss is strategizing financial freedom. Now, guys, to strategize financial freedom, all you have to do is very simple. If you invest 36,000 rupees every month for 10 years, right? So it becomes, okay, let me just do it here. It becomes 36,000 into 12 into 10. This much amount, if you invest for 10 years, it becomes 1 crore. Okay. So let me just write it also for those of you who are new. So I'm writing per month investment of 36,000, years, 10 years, and amount in crores. So guys, this is only done if you're doing at 15% compounding. Okay. It cannot be done under 15%. Now, if you're doing it for 10 years, you make 1 crore. So let's say if you've done in every 10 years, what actually happens is your money goes 4 times. 10 साल में 4 गुना बढ़ता है अगर आप 15% से compound कर रहे हो. So if I'm doing this, and if I just drag it and I say you work for 40 years and just leave it. So now what I'm saying is this 1 crore will become into 4. So it will become 4 crores. And if I just drag it by 40, in 40 years, you should anyways have 64 crores. So what I'm simply saying is, guys, this is the roadmap to financial independence or financial freedom. Once it's actually called the retirement corpus. And the easiest way of doing is, if you can invest 36,000 rupees for 10 years at 15%, it becomes 1 crore. Right? It's exactly 1 crore. And all you have to do is you have to leave this 1 crore in the market for next 30 years and it becomes 64 crores. तो अगर 10 साल तक हम 36,000 रुपए दे सकते हैं और भूल सकते हैं कि हमने 36,000 रुपए दे दिए 10 साल तक, तो 40 साल बाद 64 crore वापस मिलते हैं, which is enough for anyone's financial independence after retirement. Because after 40, so let's say I started working when I was 20, I would retire at 60. Probably I might not live beyond 80, 85. Anyways, or 80, maybe 64 crores is a huge amount, guys. I mean, it takes a lot of trust to be able to spend that kind of money out of the lifestyle that we're talking for someone who is investing 36,000 rupees a month. But then let's say someone who is smart enough and he says कि मैं 36,000 रुपए हर महीने 40 साल तक देने को तैयार हूँ. मतलब I don't want anything. I don't want to stop paying it, right? So if I'm investing 36,000 rupees every year for 40 years at 15%, it becomes 113 crores. So this is another way of doing it. It is another way of calculating of. Okay, Aditya is texting something. I don't know what. It's in Hindi. I'm very bad at reading Hindi. Anyways, so guys, this is how it is, and this is how it becomes 64 crores. So the way to financial freedom or the way to financial independence is simply that you can go ahead and you can build strategies like this with Aditya, with me, or with Atul sir whenever you feel like, and we can help you in building these formulas and building these strategies and making sure that 3 things are met. The first thing is that, okay, the first thing is that we have enough wealth accumulation. And guys, wealth accumulation is for, actually the emergency fund helps in wealth accumulation, or wealth accumulation helps in emergency fund. So if we have enough wealth accumulation, we will not face any trouble during these crisis situations of lockdown or corona or business going out of business or we losing our jobs or any goddamn thing that happens. Then for wealth maximization, you have to use this investment part. When you invest, you should invest in wealth maximization. And wealth generation can be used, you can use your wealth generation. Aditya, you're texting to everyone. So if you're texting to me, you will have to toggle my name. Yeah, thank you. So guys, if you want wealth generation, then we can go ahead and do that kind of we can create that kind of portfolios for you. But the idea here is that the idea here is simple. That what Aditya wants me to tell you guys is the late you start, the more horrible it gets. So let's go ahead and see that part. Also, I don't know how I missed that. So let's say I come up and I say I work for 40 years and I invest 5,000, and I'm just investing 5,000 at 12%. I'm not a pro investor. I am a normal guy and I am just investing at 12%. So if I invest 40 for 40 years, if I invest 5,000 for 12 years, it becomes 5.9 crores. But someone comes up and he says, you know what, Emmanuel, you are stupid and I'm smart. I won't invest 5,000 rupees for the next 10 years. I would invest 10,000 rupees for next 30 years. And because I'm investing double than what you are, I will make more money. Okay. Now this guy is smart. So I say, okay, let's go ahead and check. I was making 6 crores. How much are you making? And then I hit calculate and I make three, and that guy makes 3.5 crores. So even if he's paying two times, that is 36 lakhs, while I was paying only 24 lakhs, he's paying two times the money from 30 for 30 years at 12%. He still ends up making 3.5 crores. Then there is another third guy who comes up and says, मैं तो 15,000 रुपए डालूंगा, तुम क्या 5-10,000 रुपए की बात करो, पर मैं सिर्फ 40 से 60 में डालूंगा. I want to live my life from 20 to 40. And I hit calculate and he ends up getting only 1.5 crores. Uh, Pretty bad. And then there is this another guy who comes up in his 40s and he says, oh, Emmanuel, you know what? I'm ready to put 50,000 rupees a month. Okay. But I will put only for 10 years. Now you tell me what amount can you give? And still he gets 1 crore, right? So 50,000 rupees a month someone is giving and he gets only 1 crore for his retirement. And for someone as stupid as can be, 5,000 rupees, I'm sorry, 5,000 rupees invested over 40 years, can get him around 5.9 crores, that is 6 crores, right? So guys, the idea is the earlier you start, the better. Save as much, invest as much as you can and as early as you can. You will never have enough money for investing if you are spending more than your income. And the more you invest, the better the tree looks, the better the future looks, the better everything else looks. So the road to financial freedom is very, very simple. You will have to come down to a figure that you need. You will have to make it a monthly affair, and you have to make sure that you're planning your taxes on a monthly basis, that you're investing on a monthly basis, and that you're not getting into wealth erosion. You're only focusing on wealth maximization, wealth accumulation. And if you're really interested in wealth generation, then what you can actually do is, after you have done a lot of wealth maximization, you see these lines simply mean that they're you can move money within them. So you can move money from wealth maximization to wealth generation. So for example, if I'm investing 5,000 rupees every month and at the age of 40 I have 6 crores, what I can actually do is I can probably buy an asset worth 2 crores here, or probably a rental asset, and I can take care of my expenses with the rent that I'm doing. Or I can buy a bond, I can buy an FD from a bank, and I can say, take these 2 crores and just give me 8% or 6% or 7% per annum. So the idea is, guys, you can actually interchange these asset classes. You can actually interchange the investment methodology, but it actually takes a lot of time. So start as soon as possible. And the first focus should be always on wealth maximization. The more focus you have on wealth maximization, the easier it will get for the entire model to work in itself. But there are two things that we're not supposed to do. One is we're not supposed to take a loan, and the second is we're not supposed to gamble or do stock speculation. Rest is history, guys. Whoever has not saved money and whoever has been on heavy credit, you would see all those names getting blacklisted. You will see all those names going bankrupt today. आज की डेट में बैंक में जितने भी एनपीए के केसेस हैं, ये वो बड़े नाम हैं जो बड़ी बड़ी गाड़ियां और बड़ी बड़ी बंगलों में हमें दिख चुके हैं. And guys, these are the people who have taken heavy loans from the banks, and businesses didn't perform, so they're not able to pay back. Now everything they own belongs to the banks. So whenever we swipe those credit cards, we should know that they will be charging 3% per month on those cards, and probably there is no interest that we can earn so much. There is another interesting way of saying it, guys. We can work for 10 to 12 hours a day as a human. That's the heights of our productivity. But interest works 24 hours a day. So if you are not able to work 24 hours a day, which I'm sure none of us can, we should not actually take any loan because interest is working against us 24 hours a day. So that's it on my end. If anyone has any doubts, now is the time. You can just unmute yourself and ask me your doubt. I hope Aditya, I've covered everything. Is there anything that's left and you probably could not type in the chat box?
Sir, about Together Investment Club.
I would leave that for you. You can brief that part, right?
Okay.
Yeah, guys. Any other doubt? Anything that you would like to ask?
Hi, this is Devesh.
Hi, Shantanu. Yeah, Devesh.
Yeah, yes.
Devesh,
I
sir,
have a question.
can we have your video just so that we feel more human? And I know I'm not talking to a robot. I'm just sorry. Like if you're okay with it.
No, I have to see. But I want to understand. जैसे आपने बताया ना कि लेट इन्वेस्टमेंट करने से क्या फायदा होगा और मतलब अर्ली स्टार्ट करने से क्या फायदा होगा. I could not understand because you are showing 20,000, 30,000 investment in 20 years, and then again you are comparing with 40 years. So I'm confused.
चलो देवेश दोबारा देख लेते हैं, ठीक है?
ठीक है.
हाँ, तो देवेश आया आदित्य के पास और देवेश ने आदित्य को बोला कि मैं 5,000 रुपए 40 साल के लिए लगाऊंगा 12% पे. तो देवेश को कितने मिलते हैं? देवेश, यू विद अस? हाँ, तो सर आपको कितने मिल रहे हैं अगर आप 5,000 रुपए 40 साल के लिए लगा रहे हो?
ज्यादा मिल रहे हैं, 6 करोड़ अराउंड मिल रहे हैं.
सर 6 करोड़ अराउंड मिल रहे हैं. पर मैं आता हूं और मैं आपको कहता हूं कि आपको नहीं आता, मैं करके दिखाता हूं, ठीक है? पर मैं आपसे 10 साल बाद शुरू करूंगा और 10,000 रुपए महीना लगाऊंगा. मैं कह रहा हूं मैं 2 गुने पैसे लगा रहा हूं आपसे, पर मैं सिर्फ 30 साल के लिए लगाऊंगा, ठीक है? क्योंकि मैं स्टार्टिंग के 10 साल मजे करना चाहता हूं जिंदगी में. मैं नहीं चाहता कि ये 5,000 में इन्वेस्ट करूं. तो अगर मैं 10,000 रुपए लगाता हूं और 30 साल के लिए लगाता हूं, तो आपको जो 6 करोड़ रुपए मिल रहे थे, मुझे सिर्फ 3.5 करोड़ रुपए मिलेंगे. जबकि मैं
लेकिन ऐसा क्यों? लेकिन अमाउंट तो ज्यादा है, लेकिन बस यही है जो कि ईयर कम है, अमाउंट ज्यादा है, तो फिर इतना कम क्यों होना चाहिए?
हाँ सर, अब ये देख लेते हैं कि अगर मैं सिर्फ 5,000 रुपए लगा रहा होता, आप भी 5,000 रुपए लगा रहे थे, मैं भी 5,000 रुपए लगा रहा होता, ठीक है? तो एक्चुअल में क्या हो रहा है सर, यहाँ पे 3 चीजें काम कर रही हैं. एक है अमाउंट इन्वेस्टेड, जो आपने पैसा लगाया है. एक है वेल्थ गेन, कि आपने जो पैसा लगाया है उस पे कितना पैसा बना है. और तीसरी है टोटल अमाउंट, ठीक है? तो अगर आपने 18 लाख रुपए लगाए हैं और आपको सिर्फ 1.6 करोड़ का गेन हुआ है, तो क्योंकि मैं 40 साल के लिए लगा रहा हूं यही पैसे, मैंने 24 लाख लगाए हैं, मतलब मैंने आपसे थोड़े से ज्यादा लगाए हैं, पर मेरा गेन 5.7 करोड़ है. जितना ज्यादा टाइम हम देंगे उतना ज्यादा कंपाउंडिंग होती है, ब्याज पे ब्याज बनता है. अब अगर मैं इसी 5,000 को, अगर मैं आपको दिखा, यहाँ पे नहीं आएगा, अगर मैं इसी 5,000 को, अब 40 साल में 6 करोड़ बन रहे थे, अगर मैं इसी 5,000 को 50 साल कर देता हूं तो सर 20 करोड़ हो जाते हैं. मतलब 10 साल में 5 गुना हो जाता है अप्रोक्सीमेटली. सो आइडिया ये है कि आप कितना इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कितने टाइम के लिए इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो और किस रेट पे इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो उससे फर्क पड़ता है. अब रेट आपके हाथ में नहीं है, रेट आपके फंड मैनेजर के हाथ में है, या रेट उसके हाथ में है जो आपका पैसा मैनेज कर रहा है, या रेट मार्केट के हाथ में है कि स्टॉक मार्केट कितना परफॉर्म कर रही है उस साल में. और टाइम अगर आप ज्यादा देते हो तो वैसे एवरेज आउट हो जाता है. तो अगर आप 10 साल के लिए इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो तो मैं कह रहा हूं कम से कम 12% बनना चाहिए पैसा. अगर नहीं बन रहा है तो आप गलत जगह पैसा लगा रहे हो, या आपका जो फंड मैनेजर है वो गलत जगह पैसा लगा रहा है. तो अगर 12% जो बिल्कुल मतलब नॉमिनल रेट है एक नॉर्मल फंड मैनेजर के लिए, एक नॉर्मल इन्वेस्टर के लिए, अगर आप 12% लगाते हो 40 साल तक, क्योंकि एक आम आदमी 40 साल ही काम कर पाता है, तो 6 करोड़ तो बनते ही बनते हैं. पर आज की डेट में दिखा दो ऐसे कितने लोग हैं जो 40 साल वाले हैं और जिनके पास 6 करोड़ है?
नहीं,
क्योंकि ये आता नहीं है, क्योंकि ये समझ नहीं आ पाता है लोगों को. तो आइडिया ये नहीं है कि आप जब ज्यादा पैसे कमा रहे होगे तब आप ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट करोगे तो आपको ज्यादा रिटर्न मिलेगी. आइडिया ये है कि आपकी सैलरी चाहे कुछ भी है, अगर आप 30% अपनी सैलरी का सेव करोगे या 30% अपनी सैलरी का इन्वेस्ट करोगे, चाहे कुछ भी है आपकी सैलरी, तो फ्यूचर बहुत सिक्योर होगा, आप फ्यूचर में रिटर्न्स आपके बहुत अच्छे हो.
लेट्स सपोज जैसे आपने बोला 40 इयर्स, अब 40 इयर्स में आदमी है, जैसे मेरा टारगेट है, मैं नेक्स्ट 15 इयर्स में मुझे चाहिए 2 करोड़, तो उसका कैलकुलेशन कैसे करूंगा कि मैं 40 इयर्स में, मैं मान लेता हूँ मैं 40 इयर्स नहीं काम कर पाऊंगा, 10 साल ही काम
कर
कर
लेते हैं
पाऊंगा।
ना, देख लेते हैं। आपको 15 साल में 2 करोड़ चाहिए,
हाँ जी।
ठीक है? तो सर 12% लगा सकते हैं हम, मतलब मैं 12% ही दे सकता हूँ आपको, क्योंकि अभी
हाँ
आपने सीखा नहीं है स्टॉक मार्केट। और मैं ये मान रहा हूँ कि आपका जो फंड मैनेजर है उसको भी ठीक ठीक ही आता है, वो उसको भी बहुत ज्यादा कुछ नहीं आता है। तो अगर मैं ये करता हूँ तो मैं ये एक्सेल पे एक फॉर्मूला लगा रहा हूँ, आपको जानने की जरूरत नहीं है इस फॉर्मूला को, बस समझ लेना। मैं कह रहा हूँ 12% पे, ठीक है? और मैं कह रहा हूँ नंबर ऑफ पीरियड मेरे पास 15 साल है, और मेरे पास प्रेजेंट वैल्यू कुछ भी नहीं है। मैं कह रहा हूँ अभी आपके पास कोई भी पैसा नहीं है, ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल।
ठीक है।
और फ्यूचर वैल्यू मुझे ये चाहिए, है ना?
हाँ।
अब मैं अगर एंटर करता हूं तो आपको 5,36,000 रुपए हर महीने, हर साल जोड़ने होंगे, तब आपको ये रिटर्न मिलेगी। अगर आप एक साल में 5,36,000 जोड़ते हो तो ये मिलेगा। अब इसको दोबारा करके देख लेते हैं। अगर मैं इसको डिवाइड बाय 12 करता हूं तो ये 44,000 रुपीज पर मंथ बनता है। तो अगर मैं यहाँ पे 44,000 कर देता हूँ, 15 साल करता हूँ, 12% करता हूँ, तो अब देखते हैं यहाँ पे 2 करोड़ आता है कि नहीं। ये देखिए 2 करोड़ आ गया। तो मैंने क्या किया,
2.2।
कान ऐसे पकड़ने की जगह पूरा घुमा के पकड़ लिया, क्योंकि मेरे को कैलकुलेशन आती है। पर आपको क्या करना है, आपको यहाँ पे अकड़ बक्कड़ खेलना है। 15 साल फिक्स्ड है, 12% फिक्स्ड है। आपको यहाँ पे फिगर बदल बदल के देखनी है। पहले आप 10,000 डाल के देखो, 10,000 आप डाल के देखोगे तो आप देखोगे कि 2 करोड़ आया कि नहीं आया। अरे 50 लाख ही आया, पर मेरे को तो 2 करोड़ चाहिए। तो इसको 20,000 कर दो। आप इसको 20,000 करोगे, एंटर करोगे, तो अब आप देखो कि 20,000 हर महीने करके आपको कितने आए। 20,000 करके 1 करोड़ आया। तो अब इसी से आपको अंदाजा हो जाना चाहिए कि अगर 20,000 करके 1 करोड़ आया तो शायद 40,000 करके 2 करोड़ आ सकता है।
हाँ।
तो मैंने जब 40,000 किया तो मैंने देखा कि ये 2 करोड़ एग्जैक्ट बन रहा है। तो आप 40,000 करके भी 2 करोड़ कमा, तो यहाँ पे आपको अक्कड़ बक्कड़ खेलना पड़ेगा। इट्स 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 दी लॉ ऑफ परम्यूटेशन एंड कॉम्बिनेशन। तो आपको यहाँ पे परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन लगानी पड़ेगी। पर क्योंकि मुझे फॉर्मूला आता है तो मैंने ये फॉर्मूला यहाँ पे लगा के यहाँ पे ऐसे निकाल के रख दिया कि यहाँ पे ऐसे क्या आ रहा है। यहाँ पे इसमें और इसमें फर्क इसलिए आ रहा है क्योंकि ये हर महीने ब्याज ऐड कर रहा है, और मैं यहाँ पे हर महीने ब्याज ऐड नहीं कर रहा। पर अगर मैं यहाँ पे भी अगर हर महीने ब्याज ऐड कर दूं, डिवाइडेड बाय 12 कर दूं और इसको इंटू 12 कर दूं, तो यहाँ पे भी देखिए 40,000 आ जाएगा। यहाँ पे मैंने हर महीने अब ब्याज ऐड करना शुरू कर दिया।
क्या
तो
अगर
ये
अकेला एक आदमी का अगर दो दो जगह वो 10,000 करके इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है, ऐसा ही एसआईपी में 10,000 करके वो दो चीजें दो स्कीम में डाल रहा है, तो फिर तब तो अचीव हो जाएगा ना कम अमाउंट में उतना जो चाहिए, जो एक्सपेक्टेड अमाउंट रिटर्न है होना है।
नहीं सर, ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं होगा, क्योंकि आप दो दो जगह जो डाल रहे हो वो दोनों चीजों चलती तो एक ही मार्केट पे है ना। वो बारह
लेकिन दोनों
परसेंट
का
से
अगर बारह
ज्यादा।
12% लेके चले जाऊंगा तो फिर तो
सर वो
24% हो गया।
कैसे हो गया सर? सर आप एक बात बताओ मेरे को, यहाँ पे मैंने 10,000 रुपए लगाए, फिर मैंने यहाँ एक अलग चीज पे 1,000 रुपए लगाए, है ना?
ठीक है।
सॉरी, यहाँ पे 1,000 रुपए लगाए और यहाँ एक अलग चीज पे 1,000 रुपए लगाए। तो अब ये दोनों 12% पे बढ़ेंगे, तो इस पे 12% मिलेंगे और इस पे 12% मिलेंगे। तो 20,000 पे भी 12% मिलेंगे ना। 20,000 पे 24% तो नहीं मिलेंगे।
अच्छा। नहीं नहीं, मतलब ये सोच रहा था जैसे ये फोलियो से कोई अगर मान लीजिए मेरा एक फोलियो से अटैच है मेरा स्कीम, अगर मेरे से एक अलग फोलियो बन जाए और फिर मैं उसमें 10,000 लगा रहा हूँ, तो उसका क्या 12% ऐसा वापस नहीं आएगा, सेपरेट नहीं आएगा?
सर फिर मैं एक काम करता हूँ ना, मैं 1 रुपया महीना लगाना शुरू करता हूँ, और एक एक रुपए करके मैं क्या करता हूँ, 100 फोलियो में लगाता हूँ।
बहुत सारे
तो
काम।
100% मिल जाएगा मेरे को। तो मैंने 100 रुपए लगाए और मेरे अगले साल हो गए 200 रुपए। फिर तो सर मतलब मेरे से बड़ा आदमी नहीं होगा दुनिया में अगर एक साल में मैं ऐसे करने लग जाऊं तो
नहीं
पैसों
ठीक
की
है।
अप्रिसिएशन उतनी ही होगी सर। आपको खुद देखना पड़ेगा कि आप कैसे कर रहे हो। बाकी आदित्य से आप ये वाला क्वेश्चन ले लेना, आदित्य ज्यादा अच्छी तरह समझा पाएगा। म्यूचुअल फंड में एक्सपर्ट आदित्य है, मैं शेयर बाजार देखता हूँ बस। Guys, if anyone has any other doubts, I'm open to it. Rest I think it's for Aditya, it's Aditya's time now. thank you everyone for joining in today, and I hope it was productive and you didn't feel like you wasted your time on a Sunday. Thank you so much. Aditya, over to
Thank
you.
you.
तो बेसिकली इस सेशन का ये पर्सपेक्टिव था कि आपको कंपाउंडिंग समझ आए, और सेकंड बजटिंग इज द मेन थिंग. अगर आप हर महीने सिस्टमैटिकली अपना 30-20% सेव करते हैं, देन ओनली यू कैन अचीव दिस अमाउंट, और एक्सपेंस मिनिमाइज होता है. अगर आप हर महीने कुछ अर्न कर रहे हैं, लेट्स सपोज 1 लाख और 50,000 रुपीस, एंड आप बिना किसी कंट्रोलिंग के, बिना किसी मैनेजमेंट के, कहीं रिटर्न में आप उसे मैनेज नहीं करते हैं, सो आप ओवर एक्सपेंस करते हैं. सो 1 लाख की 1 लाख सैलरी कंज्यूम हो जाती है rather than going for a SIP. SIP का बेनिफिट ये मिल जाता है आपको कि हर महीने का अमाउंट पहले ही 5-10 दिन में कोई आपसे ले लेता है. तो अब आपको पता है कि मुझे 90,000 में अपना एक्सपेंस मैनेज करना है, इमरजेंसी फंड करना है. बाकी रही बात जो है वो मार्केट रिस्क की. सो मोस्टली जो हमारे फंड्स होते हैं वो सिलेक्टेड होते हैं ब्लू चिप फंड्स. वी नेवर इन्वेस्ट इन स्मॉल कैप, और बहुत कम टाइम होता है जब हम मिड कैप किसी को सजेस्ट करते हैं. So after 3 to 4 years जो expense है वो बहुत minimize हो जाता है फंड का. तो after 3 years you will not be able to see any minus or any loss in your portfolio. बाकी apart from this जो हम अपने clients के लिए रन करते हैं, apart from this, क्योंकि हमारे पास जो होते हैं दो टाइप के clients होते हैं. एक clients होते हैं जो चाहते हैं कि हम उनका पैसा मैनेज करें, एंड दूसरे जो होते हैं दे रियली वांट टू लर्न कि मार्केट कैसे वर्क करती है, कैसे मैनेज होता है. उनको डिविडेंड इनकम चाहिए होती है, फंड्स अपने खुद के मैनेज मार्केट में करने होते हैं. फॉर देम वी रन दिस टाइप ऑफ क्लब व्हिच इज टुगेदर इन्वेस्टमेंट क्लब, इन व्हिच अ रिटेल इन्वेस्टर और जो भी इंटरेस्टेड है मार्केट के बारे में और खुद इन्वेस्टमेंट सीखने के लिए, वी रन दिस काइंड ऑफ क्लब्स फॉर देम. सो इसके लिए अगर किसी को कोई डाउट होगा या कुछ होगा अपार्ट फ्रॉम इन्वेस्टमेंट, तो हम आपका पोर्टफोलियो मैनेज कर रहे हैं. लेट मी नो एंड लेट मी मैनुअल सर, we will help you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you everyone. We'll be closing the meeting. If you have any doubts, you can follow it through Aditya, or you can directly share your doubts with me. Thank you so much.